Hey, good afternoon.
Hi, all.
Welcome to Trail Talk.
We're here.
Yay,
We have
finally. I know you guys have been waiting,
Excited.
wondering, just
Anticipating.
where are they?
Mhm.
Where is Trail Talk? Where is the lesson on dangerous and annoying insects in Oklahoma, part two? Part two. Okay, and just for the record, I think we should just say up front, we are not covering every dangerous and annoying insect that there is.
No.
There's no way. We're just hitting the high spots.
Ones that you're familiar with that annoy us.
Right, yeah. We're gonna start with flying insects. I do not
He knows these pictures.
care.
I do not.
Yeah.
And if he watched
I do not
last
care
time-
for these flying insects. But as you all know, most of the flying insects bite,
Mhm.
sting,
Mhm.
things like that. So just a precaution, if you are stung by one of these insects or bit or whatever, apply a cold compress. If it left it stinger, you know how you can take like a credit card or something stiff like that and scrape, and it'll
Apply
scrape it
pressure.
out. Yeah.
Mhm.
And just watch it to see.
Make sure you don't have any anaphylactic
My husband
reactions.
got stung by a wasp right
Mhm,
here about
mhm.
3 days ago, and it's very red still.
I got
It
stung
doesn't-
once, and I think it was right here, and
Mhm.
I had to put the baking soda. 'Cause I'd never been stung before, and man,
Yeah.
it-
Yeah, it's a painful experience. So anyway, just here you go, wasps. So the most common wasp around here in Oklahoma is the paper wasp.
I
And
love that.
I always think when you zoom in on an insect, there are a lot of things there
You
that,
don't see.
yeah, and I haven't decided if I want to see them. or
She's
not.
not making eye contact this week. Last time it was me.
Yeah, the wasp is,
It's got a black brown combo.
yeah, the black and yellow
Mhm.
body. Now, you know, there are some wasp around that are all black or
More of a
reddish.
brown,
Yeah,
two-tone brown
yeah.
or two-tone black.
But the paper wasp is the one that builds those gray honeycomb kind of
Mhm,
looking.
like in the corners and things.
Mhm,
of their
nests.
eggs.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and they are the ones that are typically around here. So I guess the variation of color, they're still considered a paper wasp. Now there are 100,000 species of wasps worldwide.
Yeah.
So it stands to reason that Oklahoma would be home to more than just one.
Right, exactly.
But they can have up to 75 worker wasps that collect food and protect the nest. Solitary wasps tend to only use their stinger to paralyze prey.
Mhm.
Okay, others are as a protection,
Right,
like if
like
they're in a colony.
Right.
Yeah, they're gonna try to protect. But wasps are one of the most important flying insects
Mhm.
that are out there because they keep other insect populations
That's right.
down. So
Agriculture actually deploys them, it says, to help protect
I
crops now. It's
know.
like they're releasing them into the wild. Bring them on in.
So wear your heavy metal, no pun intended with Mary's shirt today, but wear something protective if you're going to be out at a crop
right.
and you know someone has done that.
Yeah,
I mean, I like that idea as opposed to pesticides.
right.
I'm-
Natural
Mhm.
kind of, if
Yeah.
you will.
I don't know, I'm just not a fan, but
Bring more in.
yeah.
Mhm.
They call it whenever they, I think it's a funny word, they call them social,
Right.
you know, whenever they
They're
live
social.
in the colonies and
Mhm.
things like that. But that's also when a wasp is going to become aggressive,
Right.
is while they're in
that social
in that
setting.
setting. But it's all defense. They spend their days foraging for food, finding insects to paralyze.
Like the
Food,
life.
check. Paralyze insects, check. Yeah. And lay their eggs. They find a host for their larva. Okay,
Mhm.
so that means they will their larvae are parasites, and so that's one way they kill
Mhm.
these other insects
by
that
laying
would affect a crop.
Right.
Is by putting
parasitic
their
larvae.
larva.
Mhm. Yeah.
So there you have it. Anyway, but they, I thought I was reading, maybe it was I'm pretty sure it was a wasp, that they will actually get into a honeycomb and put their larva in a honeycomb if they can, and then they
For
are able to, live in there,
Yeah, there was
in
something,
that.
one of them that I was reading.
Mhm. I can't remember what that was, but
Yes.
anyway, the thing about wasps, no, you don't want them around you. You don't want them near your home. Young children,
Right,
pets.
things like that.
So if you're gonna spray them, which wasp spray is one of my favorite products,
Yes.
because you can stand very far away and hit them with
Long
that big
distance.
stream
Yes.
and get them off of whatever. I mean, they just start dropping,
Mhm.
literally dropping to the
That's
ground.
right. Yeah.
But spray in the morning or evening hours when they're not as busy flying around.
Mhm.
They're a lot
rather-
slower those hours.
Exactly.
Okay, next we're going to talk about bees. So there are
Very little.
typically, I know, isn't that funny? There are typically two kinds of bees that are most common in Oklahoma, the honeybee and the bumblebee.
Mhm.
But we all know those little ones that fly around the trash cans.
Mhm.
I don't know what those are
I
called.
don't either, trash can bees.
Yeah, and then we have at our house, we have the ones, we call them bore bees, but carpenter bees or whatever. I don't know, they bore holes into wood.
Oh, yeah.
And they're big, fat ones that I've never been stung by one of them.
Yeah.
But they make a loud noise when you hit them because they're so big.
Really?
Yeah, they
That's
pop.
flat.
Yeah. So, well, I guess there are four main types, but the honeybees and the bumblebees are the ones that will sting.
Right. The sting.
So they are in the same family as ants, wasps, and hornets. Over 20,000 known species of bees. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever seen our Trail Talk, where Clifford McGahey comes on and brings some of his beehives with him and gives a really great, thorough lesson on honeybees. I mean, it was very interesting, but those queens, I mean, they control everything about
Yes.
what's going on
Yes.
in the hive. Is that what they call
Yeah,
the?
when the
or
new
a
queens are
colony?
ready to emerge, the old queen leaves with the hive and thousands of worker bees, and they go try to find a new hive.
Yeah, because of population. So what the like the OG queen bee,
OG.
what she does is she determines if there is enough food in the area for all of the bees in the colony.
Currently in that.
And if there are not, then somehow nature is cool like this. She can make sure other queen bees are laid as larvae. And because typically there's only one queen and all the rest are the drone worker bees.
They lay their eggs in queen cells.
Oh, so there's a different
Mhm.
cell, and that cell produces either the queen or a worker. And so they are able to have other queens, and when those queens are at the right age, they take off and all of these workers go with them.
That's
It's
what
a-
you call it. See the swarm. That's the
Yeah,
swarm. It's the
yes.
queen with the hive, or the workers that have left the
Uh-huh.
hive going to find a new spot.
And yeah, trying to find a new place for them to start, to a new food supply essentially
Right,
is
right.
what they're looking
Yeah,
for,
usually it says in April to June.
is when they'll swarm.
Uh-huh.
Really, it was about a year ago. Tina, who used to work here,
Mhm.
was leaving and saw some bees out by a tree that is near the sidewalk out there. And I called Clifford McGahey. He's the bee guy
The
that I know.
resident bee.
Yeah. And he came up here and there was a large swarm of bees and he was able to collect them and take them and add them to his whatever
collection.
I don't know.
Hive or
Yeah.
swarm or
Yeah.
nest.
So, okay,
Interesting.
one of the differences, you notice these little hairs on
Yes,
these bees.
yes.
So this is the main thing about their bodies that is different from a wasp. They otherwise, I mean, they have wings, they have the big abdomen, the legs, the antenna,
Mhm.
you know, yeah, the head
Head
with the
shape.
thing, and they have a stinger.
Mhm.
And so I don't know what's going on with my phone. My God, goodness. They have, anyway, they are able to, of course, we know how they pollinate. They are essential to, nature.
Oh, yes.
I guess is what is how you
Very
would say
much
it.
so.
They are essential to nature.
You always hear people joke around about where'd the bees go or what happened to the bees, or, we're talking about the bees. And truly and honestly, they are. It's a very big part of it.
And there are parasites that can get into a hive and kill the bees. There are also pesticides that kill bees. And so I don't know if you've heard, in recent years, there have been large numbers of bees that have died.
Commercial crops, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Honeybee, they pollinate commercially.
Yes, and so it had a huge impact on agriculture as far as keeping up with food supplies and farmers who raise a specific crop not being able to count on that crop producing like normal. And it all goes back to these bees. And so even though these flying insects are not my favorite thing.
Right, they're insects, they're bugs.
Yeah, I respect what bees and wasps and all of these other insects, what the role they play in nature. And I get it. I know that it's very important.
I'm sure we're a pest to them.
Right? So bumblebees, we know that honeybees, they make the honeycombs and all that, but bumblebees will live in the ground.
In the soil and grass.
And I seem like they like an old mouse's nest or something to live in, like a fibrous habitats is what they call it. But the queens start new nest in the spring and early summer. The eggs hatch in 3 or 4 days. This is another thing. In reality, the lifespan of an insect is so stinking short
that we shouldn't even have to worry about.
For
that should
real.
not be anything that we're really worried about.
Yeah.
Something that lives a day or two, and here we are living decades.
Exactly. Worker bees of the bumblebee live about a month. They just don't last very long. They get their work done and then it's over. It's time for them to move on. Yeah.
2 more weeks on the beach.
But the bees and the wasp are definitely an important part of nature. They're just annoying pests, and they're dangerous if you have an allergy.
Oh, very dangerous.
Yeah.
People carry EpiPens.
Yeah.
I think we have one here, in fact, even for people that maybe didn't realize or maybe didn't have one with them. Yeah.
So, all that said, they can be dangerous. Really, they're more annoying than anything, but
they have a purpose.
Try to refrain from killing them if possible. This next one, on the other hand, kill every mosquito you can find. I know mosquitoes have a role too.
Some of them I've seen huge ones.
Yeah.
Small children could wrestle them and ride them.
Typically, if I'm outside anywhere in a spring, late spring, summer type evening, I am the blood supply.
You're the food
for
source.
whatever insect, blood-sucking insect might be around. The thing about mosquitoes, though, is they carry these viruses.
Yeah.
Of course, West Nile, Zika, and malaria are all carried by mosquitoes. And anytime there is standing water, there are going to be larvae and there are going to be mosquitoes. And guys, right now it has been so wet.
Yeah.
If you have standing water anywhere around your house, even just a little bitty puddle kind of thing, yes, put some bleach in that, or get rid of it, pour out whatever you can, because mosquitoes will be hatching in that. So there are about 60 different types of mosquitoes active in Oklahoma. Oh, joy.
Yes.
It says most of the time you don't have to deal with them, but with all of them.
But you do have to deal with some.
I'm telling you, I think that I have had to deal with every single one of them. And I'm one of those people who has like a weird reaction too.
My daughter does too. She develops up.
Yeah. And so that just makes it even more fun. But if you know of any good mosquito repellents? I've tried them all. I haven't had 100% luck with any of them, but I get a little bit of luck sometimes with
Layering
some.
up.
Yeah, I have done that.
Yeah, you
I
have
have
to,
done that.
especially
Yeah.
4th of July when you're out there watching and, you know, you want to take part in watching the fireworks, but you just overtaken by the mosquitoes.
Yeah, yeah. So I just wanted to tell you guys the most common mosquitoes that would give Oklahoma residents trouble because their names are terrifying. So I want you guys to appreciate this. The yellow fever mosquito, the Asian tiger mosquito, the eastern salt marsh mosquito, the inland floodwater mosquito,
In the common,
yeah, the common malaria mosquito, and the common house mosquito. So,
You know.
just, maybe
get eaten by an eastern salt marsh. Maybe
Yeah.
next week you'll have the inland
Yeah.
floodwater.
I'm looking for the Asian tiger myself. Yeah. So there you have it. And by the way, this is someone's flesh,
Yes,
just so you know.
and it is
And
about to just
it
partake.
looked like a little dry parched piece of ground, and then I realized
Yeah,
that's
that's
someone's
skin.
skin.
That's skin. Mhm.
Up close and personal.
Mhm.
Look at those little furry
Mhm.
things on that guy.
Mhm. Yeah, he's
Weird
really about to
little
go in.
hairy. Yeah, he is. Yeah, that's like on that movie Bugs Life when they're in the bar and
The drinking.
they have the big old thing. It's like a little tiny drop of blood.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny. Okay, we're moving on to crawling insects.
Okay, I don't know.
So
what's
get
worse,
ready.
Flying or crawling.
Get ready.
Okay. Taking a
Now
step
crawling insects, I'm just gonna say, crawling insects, are equally weird and
Yeah.
kind of annoying
Yeah.
because of where all they can get. And they're just, you're
They're
walking through
squishy.
grass or whatever, they're crawling
You
around.
hear 'em
on-
pop if you.
Yes, yeah. So, first of all, we have the American oil beetle. Now, I would call this beetle a stink bug when I was a kid.
Mhm.
And sometimes they got like a little orange
Mhm.
on their little
Mhm.
abdomen thing back here.
His legs are kind of like
Mhm.
curlicues.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah.
Little weird knee
Uh-huh.
joints on them. But these guys are also called blister beetles.
Mhm.
And
They're squeezed or under pressure, they emit a chemical.
yeah, and it can cause a blister on people's skin.
Mhm.
So, or maybe that was what it was a blister bug, was what my mom and them called it. Anyway, staying away from these
Yeah.
black ones was
Right.
always a thing that my parents
Mhm.
said. It says even when they're threatened, they can
Yeah.
emit this chemical.
Right.
You love an insect that can emit a chemical whenever it's
Yeah.
feeling threatened,
You
right?
gotta love it.
Yeah, and the chemical is called cantharidin,
Mhm.
and it creates these blisters. But it can ward off predators, that's their natural
Right.
defense mechanism. Nature is cool like that. I mean,
They have to have a way to
Honestly.
defend themselves.
So they can be black or shiny black or dark blue. They have visible antenna. They do not fly and they're slow movers.
Mhm.
So if you want to kill one, you can do it.
Right.
Easy. They do crunch whenever you step on it. It's loud.
They have that, yeah.
I love this. Adults can be found gingerly walking
Ginger.
around plants that they eat. And if you think about insects with legs like this, it is a very gingerly
Yeah.
kind of,
Creep.
yes,
have.
that they have because they're just kind of wherever the grass in the ground is, and
That's
they
where
just, their little 6 legs just kind of hit it and
Oh,
keep
right.
them balanced.
Yeah.
I mean, I had never thought about it until I saw that
That's
word written
That's
there.
true.
So
Yeah.
now I will always think of
Ginger.
insects walking
Mhm.
gingerly through the grass. They're active all year, but more in the spring. That's when you're gonna more likely see them. The larvae are somewhat devious. I love a good devious larva, right?
Right.
They will sit on a flower, wait for a bee to land, and
This
then
is the
latch onto the bee for a free ride back to the hive. Yes,
Yeah.
this is the one. Once there, the beetle larva feeds on the same food as the bee larva, and it will pupate. Oh, I'm getting a nod from one of our
Pupate.
people here. Good, because that was a scary word to say live. Safely inside and emerge in the spring. So there you have it.
Right.
These
10-second
beetles,
delay.
yeah. These beetles are They're devious little
Yeah.
guys.
Larvae
So,
included.
yeah, the American oil beetle, this is just one of those bugs. You really want to stay away from it because of the blisters it can cause. But if you see one gingerly walking,
Right.
step on it not so gingerly.
That's right.
Next is the bug that has my favorite bug name, the assassin bug,
Look at that thing.
right?
He looks like a chili pepper. Like,
Yes,
Talk
I
about-
mean,
talk about. He's
Yeah,
got a sway back.
yeah, that thing, it's bright orange and black. And so anytime an insect or an animal is
The
like
red
these
color?
colors, it's like a
Danger.
signal.
Mhm.
Okay, I just thought of something.
Oh,
So if
let
that
it go.
color is a signal to a predator
Mhm.
to leave you alone,
Mhm.
would that mean that animals can see color?
You would have to.
So,
What
I
if we wear
mean,
red and black?
I don't know.
Wonder if that would keep your
I don't know.
body at bay so you could.
I don't know, but there's something for you to think about right there. I had never thought about that. I knew that red and black color
Or is that
thing
for
meant
human?
something. I think it's for predators.
It's
It
for
says,
predators. Yeah,
I don't
it would have to
know.
be for predators.
okay, they're not deadly.
Yeah.
The name is a little deceiving.
Right. That's
They are not deadly.
They're called kissing bugs also.
Yeah, they have a long fang at the front of their mouth and
You
it's
see it
painful
right
to get
here.
stabbed by it. Oh, yeah. And they call them the kissing bug. Even though I found the kissing bug listed as a separate kind of animal, insect,
As opposed to this.
you know how sometimes
Yes,
people
different.
use the same name?
Mhm,
Eh,
mhm.
Anyway, but they do sleep between mattresses. This gives me a whole new
That's
weird
it.
thing to freak out about in a hotel or something. They like to sleep between mattresses and then they will get on the face
Mhm.
at night to bite.
Close to your lips and
Yeah.
eyes.
Yeah, so, yeah, sweet dreams. Oh, okay, here's what you need to know. They're found all across the bottom 2/3 of the US, predominantly in Arizona, California, Texas, and New Mexico.
Mhm.
Phew, we're not on that
Right, we're
list.
not on that list.
And tropical regions further south, that climate change and global warming have pushed them north,
Right.
okay? Largely dark brown or black, but they have these red dots or red parts of their body. But the main thing is that they
Half inch
bite.
to an inch long.
Yeah. Yes, a half inch to an inch long.
Mhm.
They,
Suck blood.
yeah, they like a mammal, something with a with
Mhm,
vertebrae.
mhm.
Word on the street is they like to bite repeatedly near the eyes and mouth, which will cause bite marks, redness, and swelling to appear.
Mhm.
I'm
If you do
I'm
it
not
around your
kidding.
lips,
I'm
maybe
getting
you get
just,
that collagen thing going.
okay, and here's more, here's more. Wait, we're not finished yet. The
There's more.
feces
Oh,
can
God.
also spread the parasite that causes Chagas, CHAGAS disease,
Yeah.
a disorder that does damage to major organs and can be fatal if left untreated. So
You have that to look forward to.
if you're having weird symptoms, make sure
If your lips swell
if you've got little fang marks on your face.
after sleeping.
I am not kidding. I am freaking out just a little bit about this one.
I'm itching.
They leave their usual nest in the woods and go in search of mates and new places to live in late spring and summer. And they are attracted to bright lights on houses at night.
Mm.
They work their way into homes and search out dark, cool places to stay during the day, only leaving again at night for food.
Mhm.
Preventing these bad boys from entering the house falls for the most part under regular home maintenance. So if you don't have a problem with
With them
in
now,
general,
right?
with insects
You're not-
getting into your
yeah.
house,
Then it's not gonna.
you're
be like
probably
what we're
okay. But if you're a little bit on the squeamish side about this sort of thing,
thinking.
just
It's
wake up in
spray.
the middle of the night and go looking for some.
Rhea,
Lift your mattress and make sure there's none of these things and no assassins
you can
under
sleep
the
with a mask.
I mean, isn't that like in a movie,
thinking
an
like-
assassin laying under your bed?
I'm thinking like, dun, dun, like Mission Impossible, they're like
Yeah.
coming in.
Okay, we're moving on from the assassin bug, even though that was a fun one to talk about.
It was.
We're gonna talk about the
Oh,
eastern
whoa.
velvet ant.
My gosh.
These are also called a cow ant. Maybe have you ever seen one, Emery? No?
This looks like
I've
it
seen
needs
them
to
out
be
in the
like a
pasture.
showgirl.
It's actually a wasp without wings,
I mean,
a female wasp without
it
wings.
looks really velvety.
Yep, hence the name, the
Velvet
velvet
ant.
ant.
Mhm.
Called a cow killer,
Shut up.
even though that is not true. They have never been, it stands to reason if they would
Right,
sting
big like a
a
cow.
human
Right.
and not kill a human,
They're not
how's it
gonna
gonna
kill
kill
a
a
cow.
cow? I mean.
They're just huge.
Yeah, they're just really big, and cow killer is a great name
Yeah.
for an insect, right?
That doesn't scare you away.
It has a terrible sting, a ferocious sting, that's really painful and should not be handled. The males do have wings and look more like wasps, despite some of the hairs on their bodies. But they are the solitary wasps.
Yeah.
So their main reason to sting is to paralyze prey.
Right.
But you don't want to handle it. You don't
No,
want to, I
no.
mean, don't
No.
put it out there. So they are parasitic to bumblebees.
Mhm.
So this is an insect that would probably be better to step on than a bumblebee, because the bumblebee is going to help with pollination and
Right,
stuff like
right.
that. Females lay eggs in a bumblebee hive,
Mhm.
just like the what was that? The beetle, the oil
That
beetle.
oil beetle. Mhm.
Oh, these larvae, they're bad dudes.
Bad larva.
Yeah. Anyway, once they hatch, they eat the larva of the bumblebee. These are even worse than the
Mhm.
oil beetle.
Right, leaves
And
no trace.
yeah, the adults drink the nectar. And the cow killers can be found in fields, meadows, sandy areas, lawns, and at the edge of forests. So typically, basically anywhere.
Right.
Outside, they can be anywhere.
Mhm. Active at dusk and during nighttime.
Yeah, I look for the females on the ground. And their venom is low in toxicity, less than that of a honeybee.
Right.
But the sting
It's
hurts
much,
really
much
bad.
more. Mhm. Excruciating.
Yeah. They can be found, they have a super cool scientific name.
Yes.
Okay, Daisy Mutilla occidentalis.
I think that's.
I think we
Right
said
on.
it.
Mhm.
They can be found all over Oklahoma, from the Great Plains eastward. And they belong to a family of more than 7,000 species of velvety wasps found all over the world. So
Mhm.
anyway, we call them a red velvet ant or a cow killer, which is a great name
Mhm.
for an insect, but they're pretty big. I mean, this is larger than.
Right, I mean, where it's a blade of grass,
Yeah.
right here, so we're talking relatively small, but in the grand scheme of things, it's a big,
Yes, it is a very big.
about an animal.
Yeah.
It's a big insect.
Insect.
Mhm.
And now we're gonna talk about another ant that's much smaller.
Mhm.
This one really doesn't give us anything to compare the size to,
No, but it sure is.
but
freaky looking.
that's why I included a picture of the mound.
Yeah, I mean, this looks like
The
an
fire
old-
ants.
Old man.
It does, yeah, it got little weird hairs sticking out everywhere. Fire ants. Now,
The
I remember when fire ants seemed like a myth to me because they were found only in Texas.
Oh, uh-huh.
And then they started moving north.
Mhm.
And I can remember about 20 years ago when they were like an hour from here, about
Mhm.
Falls Creek.
Okay.
And then probably for the last 5 years, I've been finding them here.
Uh-huh.
They are relentless and they are moving north.
Mhm.
My parents live about an hour from here. They don't have fire ants.
Really, they haven't gotten them there yet.
They have not gotten there yet. So I know that it's a real thing, that they
Progressing.
really do move. Now, I found some maps online that show some counties in Oklahoma have eradicated
Really?
them. There are ways you can, there's like granules that you can use. They are for fire ants specifically. But one thing I said to pour boiling water
I've seen that.
into the
The mound
mound.
itself.
Mhm.
And I've gone myself just in ant holes or ant mounds, not necessarily just, fire ants. spraying them with water hose.
Yeah.
You know, or you pour anything you can into it.
The thing about these fire ants, if you disturb that nest even a little bit, yeah, they
Oh,
go
yes.
everywhere,
Yes. And you just-
everywhere.
You see almost the ground move.
Yes. There are just so many of them.
Yes.
But they are, even though they're tiny, when they bite, it
It
really
hurts.
hurts. It is a very painful bite. This says they infest more than 325,000 acres of the southern United States. It says they bite and arch their back and continue biting, like
In a
over and
circle.
over in a circular
Huh.
motion.
So there's not just like a sting and they're dead or they're gone. They
Mhm.
continuously do it.
Some other information I found is, they call them RIFAs, red imported fire ants. It has been a considerable agricultural pest and a significant health hazard. And so there are some places where a certificate or permit has to be checked before certain products can be transported, and that's from southern Oklahoma, even north, out of certain counties. One would be the ants themselves, but another would be soil. Potting soil is exempt if it's packaged.
Commercially.
Plants with roots and soil attached, except house plants that have been maintained indoors. Grass, sod. I mean,
Can you
I'm just-
imagine?
I'm just
Can you
thinking,
imagine buying sod and bringing it into your new home or your new yard and being infested?
baled hay and straw that has been stored in contact with that, with a,
Use soil moving equipment.
yeah. I mean, a lot of these things, and I had not
I wouldn't
even
think about
thought
that.
about any of that, but these are all things, I mean, I'm passing some of this information on to my dad because he farms. He bales hay, he does
All
all
that.
of these things,
Yes,
and they're gonna have to start watching for these fire ants.
they can have them on their property soon.
They could, they really could, it really is a thing, so, it's just they are a genuine pest, annoying,
Yes,
for sure.
yes, for
Yeah,
sure.
RIFAs.
The reefa.
The reefa. The red imported fire ant
That's right.
coming to.
Hopefully not
coming
soon to you.
Yeah, yeah. So, that completes part 2 of our little insect study. Now, there are only a million other insects, and, we may dive in and
You never know.
have some more for you guys. Yeah, you never know.
You never know.
You never know what little goodies you're gonna find on Trail Talk. But today, yeah, that's gonna be it. But honestly, Mary and I can only tolerate so much talk about these things before we have to stop.
Because I'm itching. If you haven't, I'm already here.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks for watching. This
Thank you,
is our
guys.
only episode this week. Next week, Mark McGehee is going to be our
Reschedule?
guest. Yeah, we rescheduled him from last week. And he has a special topic. It's Chisholm Trail, the Native American effect, I believe.
Sounds right.
Yes, it was something like that. Anyway, he's a specialist in the history of Native Americans. And so he's going to kind of help us see some of how probably the impact of the Chisholm Trail and the Native American life
Right.
on each other.
Exactly.
It's kind of what it sounds like
That's
to
what
me. So I'm excited to talk to him about that. So you guys have a great week, and we'll see you next Thursday.
All right.
Wait, no, he's not next Thursday. He's not until July the 6th. My bad. Betty Beck from
Oh,
Duncan
the
Regional Hospital is next
Hospital.
week. Yeah,
Okay.
I've been rescheduling all these things. I'm sorry, he'll be here on July 6th. Betty Beck from Duncan Regional Hospital, who is the director of the volunteers there, is going to be our guest next week. And she really has a lot of cool things going on with her volunteer army that helps
There you go.
everyone
She's
at the
that queen
hospital.
bee.
She is exactly right. Exactly. So, anyway, guys, we will see you soon. Put a date on your calendar. What day is National Day of the Cowboy?
July 22nd.
July 22nd.
Saturday. 2 to 5.
National Day of the Cowboy. Be here or be square.
We'll be here.
I mean, yeah, you guys want to come and hang out with us, right? Anyway, put that date on your calendar. It's a free day for the family
That's
and
right.
lots of cool stuff's gonna be going on.
Always.
And we'll be talking about that more. And Free Family Art Monday, our last one is Monday afternoon from 2 to 4, right out there in front of the Heritage Center. So come by and do some free family art. It's super
Fun.
fun. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching today. We'll see you next time. Happy trails.